Welcome to the Informex Show Timetable 2009. These are the landmark events of the show, which runs at the Moscone South Convention Centre. Tuesday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m, showcase breakfast. 9 a.m. to 5 p.m, exhibitor and technology showcases. We plan to cover selected showcases in the Wednesday edition of Informex TV. 12 to 1:30 p.m, showcase lunch. 1:30 to 5 p.m, networking roundtables in conjunction with Scientific Update. 5 to 6:30 p.m, welcome reception sponsored by Dixie Chemical. On Wednesday, January the 28th, 7:30 to 10 a.m. is breakfast. 7:30 to 10 a.m. is also time for the Reach breakfast briefing in room 303, sponsored by SAFAC. And at 7:30 to 10 a.m. is also the Biotech breakfast briefing in room 304. Both of these events will be covered in the Thursday edition of Informex TV. 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. the exhibits are open. 11:30 to 2 p.m. is lunchtime. And 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. sees the Green Gallery cocktail reception, sponsored by Signa Chemistry. Thursday, January the 29th, 7:30 to 10 a.m, Green Chemistry breakfast briefing, sponsored by Eureka Technologies in room 304, and that will be covered by Informex TV on Friday morning. 9 a.m. to 5 p.m, exhibits open. 11:30 to 2 p.m, exhibit floor lunch. 5:15 to 6:30, networking reception, sponsored by Chemical and Engineering News. Friday, the 30th of January, 7:30 a.m. to 10 a.m, breakfast. 9 a.m. to 12 p.m, exhibits open. Simon Robinson here with Wanda Lobush of the Global Green Sourcing Council. Wanda, could you tell us a little bit about sustainability?
Sustainability is not only the business philosophy of doing well by doing good, it's a business strategy, and I submit that this is the only viable business strategy for anyone involved in global business these days.
So what's in it for shareholders?
It's been documented that companies who subscribe to sustainability principles perform better than other companies. They are best in the class, so stockholders definitely receive the long-term value. And sustainability-driven companies attract investments because they perform better.
So it's really a question of thinking beyond the next quarter.
And I think this is the most important thing. We need to go beyond the quarterly results. As Americans, we learn it a very hard way that the quarter results-driven philosophy does not take us far enough. So we need not only to be good employees, we have to be the citizens of the world, and that will bring the true value to the stockholders.
Simon Robinson here with David Kinnear of Listener Gold Global Services, chairing the Global Sourcing Summit. David, just how real is global sourcing?
I think it's very real. I think that in the course of the last 3 or 4 years, we've seen that reality becoming the reality. And especially over the last 6 months, we've started to see how the world is very much more interdependent, not just in terms of buy-sell products, but in terms of financial interdependency as well. A lot of issues associated with global sourcing, and it's definitely here.
That sounds quite a risky process.
A lot of risks associated with it. We're moving into an environment where we don't have a preset set of regulations, a lot of free market activity where we have to define a lot of the rules as we go. So yes, a lot of risks, but there's steps that can be taken to address those. But yes.
But I guess that means there's going to be opportunities too.
I think opportunity is the name of the game. I think in every situation there are risks. But there are also rewards for seeing those opportunities and taking them. And global sourcing is a door that we should go through. We have to see what lies beyond. And there's a lot of business to be done in a world where the boundaries are coming down as much as they are.
What to look out for on Wednesday at Informex 2009. In addition to the exhibition, there are a lot of other events happening on most days of the show. We're especially lucky on Wednesday with both the Biotech Breakfast Meeting and the Reach Summit, running from 7:30 to 9 a.m. The Biotech Breakfast Meeting will have speakers from the industry examining issues that affect that sector. We've got Brad Sepp, Senior Engineer of Process and Development at Lonza, followed by Chris Diskel of Tunnel Consulting. Between 8:40 and 9:05, the results of a capacity survey by Bioplan Associates will be shared by Eric Langer. We round off the event with Bill Downey of High-Tech Business Decisions discussing supply trends, strategies and pricing in the biopharmaceutical contract manufacturing sector. The Reach Summit held by SOCMA, will be examining the way that REACH, the European Union's directive that requires chemicals to be registered, evaluated and authorised before use, will be phased in over the next 11 years. If you sell or export chemicals to Europe, you'll be prompted to change your documentation and chemicals management processes in the years ahead. To help you make these changes, we have Holger Hupelper of Lanxess Deutschland, who will discuss REACH from the European purchasing perspective and give details on how Lanxess is complying with the regulations for finished goods, raw materials and the costs of regulation. He'll be looking at issues around intermediates. Tucker Helms of SOCMA Visions will discuss consortium and CEF management issues, including antitrust, handling HPV data and contracting issues for test data, the first import rule and other technical issues. Jim DeLisi of Fanwood Chemical will discuss ore issues and the business aspects of REACH and update attendees on international issues around the regulation. I'm here with Bill Tannenbaum of K. Scholler talking about intellectual property. Bill, what are the issues?
I think the key issue for intellectual property with pharma is to take some of the teachings from other industries and apply them to the pharma industry.
What kind of things specifically?
The most important thing is to realize that you're dealing with a portfolio of vendors and that therefore you should coordinate the activities and structure both your contracts, and business practices so that they reflect the fact that you're dealing with more than one vendors who need to cooperate with you in order to serve your needs.
So what kind of strategies should you be employing?
You should be using common SOWs and SLAs. It's full of an acronym business, and that means that the statements of work and the performance level should be the same so that it's easy to manage different vendors.
Simon Robinson here with Garrett Dilley of AMRI. Garrett, can you tell us a little bit about globalization?
Yes, certainly. The pressures that our clients are finding themselves under is forcing the industry to look further and further to use cost-competitive outsourcing overseas and taking advantage of the efficiency and opportunities that India, for instance, can provide.
That implies a level of increasing risk. What can companies do to mitigate that?
Certainly, I would say work with the best players in the industry and also organizations that have a U.S. presence as well as operations overseas are often an advantage to them.
Cool. So what are the best kind of partners, do you think?
The best kind of partners, I would say, would be, obviously I'm slightly biased here, but a U.S.-based company that has operations throughout the world.
San Francisco was settled in 1776 by the Spanish, who built a fort at the Golden Gate, and naming it a mission after St. Francis of Assisi. The town grew rapidly in the California gold rush of 1848.